What is up, guys? We are live with another episode of Southern Arizona Sports Talks, and we have two special guests, Manny Flores and Brenda Soto. How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
Great.
How are you?
Good morning.
Doing good, guys. Thank you guys for being on. Okay, so we're just gonna cut straight to the point, and because I'm more interested than ever at this. Where did you learn how to hypnotize people, and have you hypnotized Manny?
I'm going to answer the second question. Yes, actually, I do work with Manny.
NDA signed. I'm just kidding. You could tell stories.
And I started doing hypnosis. Actually, I started a long time ago by doing meditation. And eventually that meditation formed into hypnosis. I had formal training for hypnosis. And I've been working with hypnosis with clients, general public, for 5 years.
That's awesome. So, like, what are the main benefits of it, and how does it really work? Like, because before we were talking, and you were saying that we don't really understand how well the human mind works and how it benefits us. So, tell us about that a little bit.
So, the hypnosis, let me go backtrack a little bit. Hypnosis is a natural state of the body. A lot of people get freaked out when they hear the word hypnosis because they think they're going to be barking like a dog or dancing like a chicken. It's not like that. You actually are conscious the entire time when you are under hypnosis. So the way I explain hypnosis to people is just slowing down your brain waves. So when you are in an alert state of mind, like we are right now, our brain can only absorb so much. When we are in a relaxed state, then we can open our mind and see things from a different perspective. So we don't understand the mind because we take it for granted. Most of the things that we do, we think that we are in control of, but actually we are controlled by our subconscious mind.
So basically just the thoughts we have in our head.
Yes. So the thoughts, it goes deeper than that. If you're aware of the thoughts that you have in your head, you're conscious of your thoughts. But if you're not aware of the behaviors that you do, then that's your subconscious mind taking over. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So we understand a very little because people don't realize that your behaviors are influenced by your subconscious mind. 95% of your behaviors, thoughts, ideas, beliefs, they're stored in your subconscious mind. So when we do hypnosis, we actually open that space of the subconscious mind to see what ideas, what behaviors, what beliefs are either holding you back or getting you be more successful in your career.
So how does that work for you to be able to see like what they're thinking, like what's in their mind in a way?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because that's kind of what you kind of made it sound like. When they do this process of hypnosis, they're learning like what's actually going on in their mind.
Yes. For example, we're going to do an example. Let's say that I'm going to share the example with me. When I was a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, I prepared for a big international competition.
Pan Ams?
Pan Ams, yes.
Awesome.
No, actually, it was the Master Worlds. Master Worlds
okay.
in Vegas. And I trained really hard. I felt really good with my technique. My energy was on point. My visualization was on point. And what happens when I got there, I never work, what if I lose? That never crossed my mind. And when I got there and I started thinking, what if I lose? Then everything just, I held myself back. Yeah. And yes, I lost. So when I had that experience, I came back to Tucson and I started thinking, okay, if my technique was what it's supposed to be, my weight was what it's supposed to be, my diet everything was perfect, what did I leave behind? And that was my mind. So the example was, I never thought about losing. And when I thought about losing, I froze. So what happened that I couldn't perform well? One of the things that people don't understand is that everything that you run through your mind is actually causes an effect in your body. Your chemistry, your biology, everything that you go through, you have a physical reaction to it. The mind is to think, the body is to feel. So if you think that you're going to lose, your body's going to froze most of the time.
Yeah, you're going to kind of be at the point where you can't even move. Like you can't move at the way you need to move.
Exactly. So the way I help people realize those things is you present a problem, and then when we go under hypnosis, we follow the feeling. And when you follow the feeling of the problem, then you can figure out how did you learn to think that way. And that's one of the things that I love about my work is that I don't just help people visualize, like, okay, see yourself winning, see yourself at the podium, see yourself taking, the first shot, see yourself. I go beyond that. Let's go figure out first, what are the things that you might feel that are stopping you from performing 100%? And then we go back, I do regressions, we go back on how did you learn that? Where did you hear it from? And how come it's affecting you so much? And to do that is easier to do in hypnosis because you don't have to think about it. When you tap into the subconscious mind, it just comes out.
Yeah.
The experience.
So one of the main things for athletes, I know the anxiety and kind of the fear of the big moment. In your line of experience of working with athletes and people that are high-level jiu-jitsu people that are basically in a situation where they got to score in 10 seconds or something, what's the biggest cause of their anxiety? And what's another way they can also fix it? Because I think that's very beneficial because we have a huge high school following. And having high school athletes hear that might benefit them in their next game or something.
Anticipation. If you anticipate that the time is almost done, or if you anticipate I have 10 seconds, I have to perform, it's gone. You disconnected from the performance and you started thinking. When you think, the body can only do two things, one thing at a time. If you think, you slow down. If you just are in the present time, you will perform.
The flow state.
The flow state, exactly. The second you think, it's done. So one of the, that I always tell my clients, the ones that, my athletes, I said, we never think about anticipating. You can do this 10 more times. You can do this for 10 minutes. You can go the extra. It's always fun. When you talk to the mind, that is whatever you're doing is fun, your mind will help you perform. So if you anticipate, most likely it's going to be hard to finish the race.
Just enjoy it and go with the flow.
Yeah, enjoy and go with the flow. Yeah. I was going to say something about athletes. Oh, yes, it is a huge myth that the nerves never go away. It's a lie.
Thank you, because I've been trying to get rid of nerves on the field for my whole career, and that never ended up happening.
Yeah, it's a biggest lie. If you feed that lie into your mind, like the nervous, the anxiety never goes away, it will never go away. I'm an athlete myself. I have competed a lot on international tournaments, and after that experience that I told you when I was a purple belt, my next goal was, how can I continue to perform without feeling anxious, without feeling nervous? And for the next years, that's what I did. And I have competed at the highest level, and I'm just relaxed, calm. The body will feel the movement, but if you say you're nervous, your mind will create pictures that are scary pictures. Yeah. But if you tell yourself, I'm excited, I'm ready to perform, my body's ready to perform, then you get all, excited about it. It's in the way we speak to ourselves. But yes, can you perform without being nervous? 100%.
So kind of going off that, so that way all the high school athletes know this. What's more important in becoming a high-level athlete, having a strong mental state or having a strong physical kind of attributes? Mental
state, the mind, the right state of mind.
Right state of mind.
Yeah, that's the way that will take you. There's something very interesting that I have been watching since I started working with hypnosis is we can have a very talented person, but if the person that doesn't have the right mindset, it will only get so far. And we had people that are not very talented, but they have the right mindset and they excel in everything that they do.
That's like the biggest difference I saw in college, because in high school, the level's nowhere close to the same in college. And then once you get to college, everyone has the same talent level, but the people that are the starting nine and that go on afterwards are the ones that have a strong mental capacity. Because stuff is going to hit the fan, and if you're not ready for it, you're going to go south pretty quickly.
Very quickly. One of the things that when I used to listen and read about the right mindset, it was about thinking positive. Think positive. Think about what you want. Think about these things. There's some truth in that, but I think with my experience as a competitor, as an athlete, and as a therapist, it is you have to enjoy. The more you enjoy what you do, even if it's not true, if you tell your mind, this is fun, this is exciting, I really like it, the body doesn't know, the mind doesn't know what's true. So the more you pretend that you enjoy what you're doing, the more successful you're going to be.
Absolutely. So kind of moving on to you now, Manny, what are kind of things you do, because you've been competing forever, what are kind of things you do to help yourself with anxiety or just being anxious for the competition?
I think anxiety comes from being unsure about your abilities in different aspects of whatever it is that you're going to do, right? So for me, it's about checking off every single box on those areas, right? So if I'm afraid of my conditioning, I'll I'll do conditioning. You know, if I'm afraid of my wrestling, I'll wrestle. If I'm afraid of my sweeps, then I'll work on my sweeps. You know, ultimately, what you need to do is you need to find your own greatness, right, and be able to assure yourself that you've done everything to prepare, right, to prepare yourself to have an answer for whatever it is that you're going to do out there.
Being confident in your preparation.
Being confident in your preparation, wherever the fight goes, wherever the match goes, you have an answer for it. You prepared. You know, you haven't neglected that aspect of it, right? So that's one of the things. That's on the physical side. On the mental side, I think visualization is crucial. You know, there's a phrase from a gentleman that talks about walking into the arena, you know, and you see the shock of the person that walks in there or the person that gets hit by the emotions when they walk into the arena every single time. By the time I walk through that arena, or by the time I'm in the bullpen, or by the time I'm on the mat, I've been there 1,000 times. Yeah. You know, I've walked through those doors in my mind. I've prepared for that sound, that environment, you know, and then I'm just really within myself, you know. I think that through working with Brenda, you know, like I've been able to work out many things that used to not block me, but things that I had to fight every time I competed. You know, so for example, am I enough? You know, that is a crucial.
That's like a question almost every athlete asks themselves, at least at some point of their lives.
Yeah, you know, and a lot of it unfortunately comes from poor coaching. You know, a lot of athletes have a poor relationship with coaching. So that's one of the first things that I try to fix with my fighters, but that's one of the things that I had to fix within myself, you know. Am I enough? And have I done the work? And ultimately, am I entitled to the results, or am I entitled to the effort? You know, and at the end of the day, man, like, you know, we're talking about in every sport, baseball, football, wrestling, it's microseconds, you know. And you go left and you should have gone right, well, you lost. Yeah. But
happens way quicker than people think.
Oh yeah. It's decisions are happening like this, right? So for me, when I divorced myself from feeling entitled to a result, and being more focused on the effort, like I'm entitled to the process of the preparation, I'm entitled to the process of the effort and the fights that I'm going to have, then that's it. That's my reward. I get to do this, you know. And if I'm good enough and my performance was right, then I win. You know, if I make a mistake, or if I'm unsure at a certain spot, or I stop to think, or the guy is better than me, then cool, I lost, you know. Yeah. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not married to a result, you know. Like I'm not weighed down by a record. You know?
Being
like,
satisfied with your preparation and the overall outcome.
Correct. Yeah, and you should be looking for the biggest challenges you can possibly find. You know, that's one of the things that I stopped doing, like local tournaments. You know, and I said, hey, if I'm going to win, if I'm going to lose, it's going to be at the international level. It's going to be Pans National Worlds. You know. I think it's important to start at the local level. I won everything in the state level, coming up through my ranks.
Yeah, and for once, we actually have Tucson tournaments now.
Yeah.
Freaking, I remember when I was a young man,
there was nothing in Tucson.
Gustavo was driving to Phoenix every 3 months.
Desert Quest, man. We have to go, yeah. So, but you know, you have to be ambitious, and you have to say, if I'm going to lose, it's going to be at this level, you know, and I'm going to prepare for that, and then ultimately, like, if you're not losing, you're not fighting the right people, you know. And I'm not telling you to have a losing record, but I'm telling you to look for that fight.
If you ain't tapping, you ain't learning.
Yeah. Look for that fight that makes you find something about yourself.
That's awesome.
So
you talked about challenges and also wrestling, and I know like you come from really humble beginnings and with some challenges. Can you kind of go about your childhood and how you got into wrestling and why essentially you had to stop wrestling?
Yeah, I was born in Guadalajara. We moved around a lot when I was a kid growing up, just mainly out of like the instability of that home life, you know. But we ended up moving to Hermosillo and coming of age around that time, you know, being 12 years old. You know, I kind of like looked around at my parents and I realized, you know, there's nothing here for me, in the sense of, you know, my parents are in chaos themselves. And their own chaos. Like there's nothing, you know, parents, like, for example, like parents prepare something for the kids, like a college fund or a job or, you know, a career or just supporting you. I didn't have that. So I realized.
What did your parents do?
It's so funny, man. I don't know, nothing. No, my mom comes from a family that was involved in agricultural supplies. So that side of the family has money. We don't have money. But being part of the family, she was entitled to like a percentage, as a stock owner. But that ran out too, right? So then, I mean, when we moved to America, we had $17,000 in the bank account, and that was it. This is what we got. And we moved to America, and we don't speak English.
How old were you at that time?
14.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
So did you go straight into high school, or how did
Straight into high school. I got here on a Wednesday, registered in school on Friday, and I was in school on Monday.
How was that like? Because how much English did you know?
None whatsoever. I cried every day. I hated it. I didn't understand. I understood it. I understood the fact that there was that Mexico was in a downward spiral around that time, not to where it is right now, but definitely heading that way. And the best my parents could do was to put me in a place where, like America, where the social structure is that if you work hard, you're going to rise to the top,
Absolutely.
And it's the American spirit. And, I know kids that work very hard in Mexico, and I'm sorry, there's not that setup there, So the best you could do was bring me to America. So we moved to America, but I started wrestling in Hermosillo because I knew that through wrestling I was going to become what I needed to be be successful.
Hey, when I was researching, you told your dad or your dad wanted you to be like a WWE wrestler or something?
No, my dad wanted me to play baseball, man. But what happened is when I was wrestling, freestyle, whatever it was, and across the street was a pro wrestling school. And that was hugely influential in me because I would do the wrestling, and then I would run across the street, and there's, like I said, the Pro Wrestling Academy, and I would go over there, and there's guys that are making money and being successful, and they're doing this incredible sport that it's a show, but it requires an incredible amount of talent. So I was pretty tall already by like the age of like 12, 13, 14. I was like 5'8", 5'9". So that's pretty average height.
Must be nice to be that tall at that age.
It was, man. But I got beat up a lot, But one of the things is, again, if you're around greatness, you're going to be great, man. And I was around some people that were remarkable characters. And one of the biggest things that one of them grabbed me, he said, "Hey, kid, let me tell you something. You're never tired." And I kind of looked at him, and everything hurt. In wrestling, man, you're in pain from head to toe, and I looked at him, and I thought, and I was like, but I am tired, But he goes, "You're never tired." He goes, "If you're never tired, your opportunities will never run out." And I stayed in the room, and then one of the great ones in the room, he still wants to work, and he's looking around, and he goes, "Are you tired?" And he clicked, and I was like, "No." He goes, "Let's go." And he started showing me things started showing me lifting, started showing me wrestling, started showing me pro wrestling, started showing me how to work, started showing me how to suffer, which is crucial to be successful in life.
Absolutely.
Learning how to suffer, learning how to first take that first hit, and then having the courage to respond to it. But then I moved to America, and I wanted to continue wrestling, but I spoke no English. So I was very dependent on people that spoke a little bit of Spanish in the wrestling room to translate. And around at the same time, like I said, that immigrant life hit us, where it's like you have to be a contributing member of the family's finances, So I turned 16 and I went and got a job, and that was the end of my wrestling career, just out of frustration of I was doing good, but couldn't communicate with the wrestling coach or the staff, And at the same time, it's like I'm tired of being broke. And I need a little bit of money, or like I'm seeing, I was very close to my mom, and I can see my mom like doing numbers, crying, So I was like, okay, I gotta go get a job. So I went and got a job KFC, and I worked almost every afternoon, But at the same time, I picked up kickboxing. So Because kickboxing, you don't need to talk to your coach, man. He just shows you like this combinations.
1, 2,
one and twos, or you can mimic what he's doing, and that was it. And that's what carried me sports-wise from 15 to about 16, 17.
So when you were wrestling with the pro wrestlers in Mexico, and when they kind of took you under their wing and stuff, was that kind of the moment where you're like, hey, I think I can make combat sports my life?
Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with wrestling, and I knew I was using it as a tool to transform myself. Like I needed discipline, I needed drive, I needed to harden or toughen up myself. I needed to learn how to deal with adversity in life, and I looked at wrestling and I said, okay, there's nothing harder that I can do to prepare me for that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of doing both, and my plan was, had I stayed in Mexico, I was going to pursue one of those, real Olympic wrestling, and I was going to pursue pro wrestling.
Yeah.
We moved to America, and that's lost, and that's when I picked up kickboxing, and then at 16, I won the adult title in kickboxing.
Oh, shoot. So kickboxing was before jiu-jitsu was ever...
Yeah, before everything, yeah. So I picked up kickboxing at 16. I won the adult title because my coach decided, he's like, hey, you're fighting this weekend. And I said, all right. And
where was it at?
It was a tournament called the Red Nation Warriors here in Tucson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the one they used to have at the fairgrounds and stuff? Or?
No, it was, I was in the South Side, actually, like Sunnyside High School.
Okay.
Yeah. So I showed up, and I'm like looking at men, Yeah. And I'm like, hey, where's the kids my age? And he goes, no, I signed you up for the adult division.
I'm pause you right there. That's the sign for our ad commercial. We will be right back.
We have a lecture, see.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
About to take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you got. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grabbed my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burned like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I play to your moves to get canceled.
Show is sponsored by D's Barbers, one of the best barbershops in town. With the weekend coming up, you're always trying to look fresh. Make sure you go check out my dude, Dave, at D's Barbershop, 1842 West Grant Road. Go check him out. And we are back. So it was kickboxing first. How long were you in that for?
About 3 years. 3 years competing, fighting in that. But just lost passion in it. Ultimately, what happened is we had a gentleman that was fighting in Japan moved to Tucson, and he was really good, man. His name was Omar. He ended up becoming a sergeant for corrections, and I later went into corrections myself as a career. But I asked him, I said, hey, do you think I'm good? And he goes, yeah, you're pretty good. And I said, do you think I have what it takes to make it? And he goes, yeah, if you keep working. And I said, all right, what do I need to do? And he goes, leave. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, and this is what like broke my heart, and this is what later led to a lot of the stuff that we do as promoters to give local people a chance to shine. Is he told me, kid, nobody's looking for world champions in Tucson.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, and let's start getting into like how you got into jiu-jitsu in Tucson. There's only 2 gyms.
There was only 2 gyms, yeah, man. So, and that was it. And when he said that, it just broke my heart, man. And I said, okay, where would I need to move? He goes, California. You know, at the time, California is when you went to fight, you know. So I said, I can't leave my mom, man. You know, I'm 16, 17, you know, and it just broke my heart. And then that was, I think I quit like within a couple of weeks after that, man. There was no point, you know. But, you know, stayed active, you know, trying to be healthy and stuff. And around 2000, that's when I started jiu-jitsu. I discovered like the first jiu-jitsu academy that I found, you know, and I was hooked from day one.
You remember your first day?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was, like I said, I had wrestled, so I had that wrestling skill. I had the footwork from kickboxing. I was 20 years old. I was pretty fit. And I went to my first practice, and I always tell the story because it's very humbling but very funny. Jiu-jitsu was not as popular as it is now. So there was probably like 7, 8 people in class that day. And I'm kind of like sizing myself up with the big guys. You know, I'm a big guy. I'm very capable. Yeah. You know, so I'm kind of like...
We don't want to see you at high wire.
Yeah. So I started looking at the big guys and kind of started making my way towards the big guys. And we do the conditioning, we do the drills and stuff. And then coach says, go with him. And he puts me with this tiny little dude. His name was Angel. Turns out that he was 16 at the time. And I was 20. And he puts me with Angel. And my ego's hurt, you know. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to mess this kid up, and I'm going to show him that I have potentials and stuff. And I took him down pretty hard, and I land in his guard, and he takes my back and he chokes me. I mean, smoothly, like that.
Quick, too.
Quick. And I was like, okay. So, you know, I go through my wrestling arsenal, you know. I said, okay, head control. So take him down again, trying to make a point, being a little rough, you know. And this time I like head controlled him, and he armbarred me. Just like that, and that's when like I went home and I was like, "This is what I need to do." For
did you get greenlit on the first day?
Oh yeah, man. There was no fundamentals program. When I started, people were like, "You only did jiu-jitsu if you were gonna fight."
Yeah. So did you get into cage fighting too after that?
Yeah, I did a cage fight. But you didn't do jiu-jitsu if you were not gonna fight back in the day. You know, like if you were like an engineer or a doctor or just any profession that wasn't like a cop or a firefighter or a felon or looking to be a professional athlete, you know, why are you here?
No one knew what it was. Like even when I started in 2007, I'd go back to like my class in elementary school and be like, "What sport are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing jiu-jitsu."
Yeah.
Like,
what is that?
What is that? Wrestling? Karate? Wrestling?
Yeah.
Because they would see with the gi and stuff, and they're like, "Is that karate or taekwondo or something?"
Yeah. Are you a black belt? My nephew is, so he's 12.
Yeah.
You know, and that's But
they pay the fine or whatever to get the belt every time.
Yeah, no, but it was rough, man. Like within my second or third day, this guy did a neck lock on me where like they put a forearm behind your neck and then they grab your forehead and it can herniate your disc.
Oh,
but I remember there was like a discussion whether it was allowed or whether it was not allowed. And then it was kind of like, you know. It was wild times, man. Like, you know, you would start a roll and you would end up in an MMA match. You know, like you're rolling and then next thing you know, things get heated and you start throwing punches. You know?
Was that before or after the Romero brothers, Eddie and Hector all got there?
That was way before, man. That was way before. And that was a huge defining moment in my jiu-jitsu career because I had won a lot, but I had never, I say it like this, I had competed in jiu-jitsu. I'd never fought in jiu-jitsu till Eddie and Mike and Augie and Hector showed up. Where Hector came later, Hector was more of a challenge because how big he was, but then he got really good. But it was more of a challenge of like, they were rough, man. They were rough.
I know you got a story about Eddie and then my dad like rolling with them. So if you want to tell those, because they're hilarious.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, and this is like where that mindset was, right? Where I was great at sweeps, you know, for my belt, you know, and I'm playing half guard with Eddie, and Eddie is an incredible, phenomenal wrestler, and I'm trying to get underneath him for a sweep, and his hands are busy, so he's kind of like framing on this side, and he's kind of framing on this side. And I go underneath him for a sweep, and he goes, wah! And he headbutts me. And I'm like, okay. Must have been a mistake. And I kind of reset a little bit, and I go for it again. And he headbutts me. And this happens 3 times. And I finally get upset, and I go, Eddie, you're headbutting me. And he goes, I know. You're trying to sweep me. And it blew my mind. I'm like, holy crap, man, that's how these guys think, And I mean, so many other stories, man. Eddie would just brutalize me in the training match just because he could turn it on. He could turn on that wrestling.
He'd make it a fight.
He would make it a fight. Same thing with your dad, man. Like, we would be wrestling, and like I would be like,
my dad cheats, man. Straight up.
Dude, I'm a nice guy, man, and I'm kind of like rolling with your dad. And we're getting closer to the edge of the mat. And back in the day, the old academy where we all trained didn't have wall pads. It was just plywood against the wall. And I'm starting to slow down because we're getting up to that edge. So your dad shoves me against the wall. And I'm like, I almost like cracked the plywood, man. And I was like, I thought we were friends, you know? What's up, man? But that's just where they went, And
that's a killer mindset, because with anything, once the game's on, you have no friends. It's your team, and whatever goes, you're gonna do whatever you need to win.
Yeah, victory over everything, right? But it's like they taught me like how to have that mind, because I went home from being like one of the top 3 or 4 in that academy to like, these guys are abusing me, not beating me, abusing me, Yeah. And I started hanging out with your dad and just picking his brain. I started hanging out with Eddie and Mike, and they just have incredible mindsets, Like, I'll share a story about Eddie, man. Like, he tells a story where, like, and this is like that wrestling mindset that very few people understand. Some people will reject it, and other will go, oh, I get it. He was cutting weight, and he was cutting a lot of weight back in his college days, and they left him alone in the sauna, and he's like at the point almost where like he's not sweating anymore because he's so dehydrated. And he talks about how he starts like getting dizzy, and he's like, oh, I think I'm gonna pass out. And he like gets up to try to walk out of the sauna, and he passes out, luckily, as he's opening the door. So he passes out with his body still in the sauna, but his head outside. And I think that's what saved him. But they came back, they found him. And what do? They dry him up and they throw him on the scale.
Yeah.
And
he probably wrestled that same day too.
Well, but this is what he said. He goes, he tells the coach, and again, he wanted a Mijo moment, where he was like, I'm scared because I passed out. And he tells the coach, he's like, oh, I made this weight. And the coach goes, okay, now we know how far you can go.
Yeah. That's the mindset right there.
That's the mindset, man.
Your new record's your new standard. And that's something Mike and my dad always had with me. Like, I'd come back from college, I'd have a really high batting average, and they're like, all right, that's the standard now. Yeah.
They just have this incredible mindset, man, and they're so willing to share it with everybody, man. I was fighting Pants, I think it was, a brown belt, and Mike helped me cut something like 10 pounds.
Oh, is that when he was going to fight you if you got out of the sauna or something?
Yeah, man, that's what I thought about fighting him, but he was naked. And then I was like... I was like, nah, you know what? We're cool, man. I'm going to sit down. Well, and the story goes, he had me running, he had me on the bike, and then he had me in the elliptical, and then he had me in the sauna. And before we go in the sauna, he goes, we're going to go in there 10 minutes. And I said, okay, and I can feel like all that water in the suit, I'm wearing plastics. And we go in there, and the door had like this little window where I could see a clock on the wall, and I'm dying, man. My vision is coming in and out, and I think, okay, I have to have hit weight by now. After everything that I did, there's no way I'm not under. And I go, okay, I'm gonna step out. We're good. And he doesn't even look up, man. He stays with his head down. He goes, I promise you to help you make weight. I told you we're going to stay in here 10 minutes. You have 2 choices. You can beep and sit down, or we're going to fight, and I'm going to hold you down till you get those 10 minutes. Your choice. And I'm like, this animal, man. But I look at him, I'm like, he's naked. Do I want to wrestle Mike naked? Probably not.
No.
I'm also very dehydrated. So I sat down, man, and I was like, all right.
Just lay down for a couple
Just lay
minutes.
down, man. What's the worst? So, yeah, man. So then, so we made weight and just like his mindset, right? Like, and that's a beautiful thing of having a team that walks with you. It's crucial, you know.
It's family oriented. That's
family,
the biggest difference. Like when we moved to with you guys, that was the biggest thing. Freaking family.
Yeah, but like the again, the willingness of sharing that mindset and the fact that I knew what he was capable of that made me believe what he said, right? Because the very next day, back in the day, Pants would give you, the IBJJF would give you a T-shirt and a magazine. Right, that's like your thank you for spending your money with us kind of thing, right? So I'm getting the magazine and I'm looking through it, and there's this giant article on like the European brown belt champion and like all these MMA titles that he has, all these jiu-jitsu titles that he has, and I'm like, oh man, he's my weight, you know. And who's my first match? That dude. Oof. That dude, man. And he looked like. He looked like what you think the Punisher looks like in the comics.
Okay, yeah.
Like his gi was just like, he couldn't close it, man. His chest was just jacked, you know.
Was he clean, though? That's the real question.
What's that?
Was he clean, though?
Oh, nobody's clean, man. Nobody's clean, dude. It's not a drug test. It's an IQ test. Are you dumb enough to get caught? Yeah. But I look at Mike, man, and there's a moment of doubt, you know, and I go, dude, he's the European champion. And Mike looks, he doesn't blink. He goes, we're not in Europe, are we?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no. It was go kick his ass.
That's from my boss, Dave. He wants to chime in for a question.
I don't got a question. I got something that came in on the chat here. A guy named Miguel said, oh, no, Coach passed on an amazing opportunity to wrestle Mike Romero naked.
What did he say? I can't hear him.
He said you passed up an opportunity to wrestle Mike Romero naked.
Hey, fix that guy's knob over there.
I think the door's still open for anybody. So
no, it's over on the headphone thing by you. See his cord right there?
Yeah.
You got that? Help that guy out there.
More.
There you go. You got it. You got it.
More.
That's
yours. I haven't done.
Hello.
You got me? You hear me?
No.
You can't hear me. Okay.
Also,
you'll have to relay.
Too many
it to
Slayer concerts, man. I'm deaf too.
Yeah. So just relay it to him.
Okay.
You know, here I'll put it on the screen here.
Yeah. So you can see the chat right there.
Oh, that's cool, man. Oh, Maggie. Is that Grandma?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the comment. Oh,
yes.
No.
Oh man, that's my nana.
Yes, I love your nana, man.
Oh man, she's awesome.
Dude, so when I met your nana, it was hilarious because like I've only seen Mike and Augie as this like beast of men, you know, it's Conqueror's Award, you know, and they're like standing somewhere. I forget where he was, but in walked your mom, and she goes, "Hi, mijo. I'm a baby," and she like pets your dad, dude. Yeah. And your dad is like, "Hi, mom," you know. And then she grabs Mike and she hugs him. Mike is like, "Hi, mom," and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Just you know, it was so beautiful to see them like with that brotherly love, but also like so attached to mom and the effect that mom can have, you know.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Because I got to say this, I'm blessed, man. I got an amazing grandma and I got an amazing nana. So
you have a beautiful family, man. You're like we talked about your mom and or not your dad.
And that's the sign for one more ad break, and we'll be right back.
I'm gonna get some water.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, CopperCreekCookies.net. We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, CopperCreekCookies.net.
There is a lot of digital marketing and digital advertising agencies throughout the US. I see a new one pop up every day. But we stand out because of our community impact, our client relationships, delivering and doing what we say. That's a key thing, right? A lot of places will tell you, hey, we're going to do this. They don't communicate to you. We're in communication with you. You're going to always get that real small business feel from us. You're going to have ways to contact us, ask us questions, right? Because we want you to do better, but we want to be better every day as well. And we're always innovating. We're always coming up with new ideas, new ways to win, applying for new platforms, and even creating some of our own platforms is some of the stuff we have going forward. So I would say that's what sets us apart.
And we are back. So I want to switch over to Brenda now. What was it like your first couple weeks in jiu-jitsu, and what kind of challenges did you face kind of being a woman in jiu-jitsu? Because I know some people may look at it like, especially in the Mexican culture, be like, why are you doing this?
Exactly. And I used to get that a lot. Why are you doing this? You want to fight? And back in 2005, 2006, women that did jiu-jitsu, they were perceived as not very feminine. So it was really challenging being in the room where there was a lot of men and trying because jiu-jitsu was not very popular as it is today, trying to fit in with all the guys, right? When I started training jiu-jitsu, it was about proving yourself. You have to prove yourself that you belong here. For me, it wasn't that challenging because I used to wrestle with Manny at home. And when he started training jiu-jitsu, he will come home and tell me, let me show you what I learned today.
How many years was it after he started? Did you start?
8 years, something like that. I started training for about a month, 2 months, and then I got pregnant. So I had to stop training because my body wasn't used to that movement. And I had to wait until our youngest son was old enough to stay so I can take my eyes away from him, that I started training. So actually our youngest one and myself, we started training together. He was 5. I was ageless. I had no age when he started, but he was 5. So it wasn't that challenging because I was involved in the sport. However, when we opened our academy, one of the first things that I told Manny, we need to have a women's program because it is intimidating and it is very difficult to walk into a room that is full of men and trying to do jiu-jitsu. And when I started training jiu-jitsu, I found so many benefits. I absolutely love everything that it did for me. It not only helped me lose weight and get in shape, but it gave me a lot of confidence. Yeah. And I think that was the biggest thing, feeling confident and being able to challenge myself and not doubt myself. That was a huge value for me.
And knowing you can defend yourself is always huge.
And protect myself, yes, obviously. One of the things is to boost your confidence is learning a skill. So I love learning jiu-jitsu, and when we opened our women's program, that was one of the visions that we had. We need to not only help women to be confident, to learn how to protect themselves, but also to help them dream big. You can do more. You can always do more, and change the perception that women that do full body contact sport, they're kind of not very feminine. I think that was one of the biggest things that we wanted to do, and we've been open for 14 years now.
Jeez, it's been that long already.
We have 5 world champions. We have national champions. We have state champions. We have international champions on the female program alone. I mean, the guys too, but.
And when you started, you were just a white belt.
I was a white belt in 2000. I think it was 2008 when I started. I competed right after, about 6 months into training. I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted to go along. Yeah. I did well, and after that, once you start competing once, either you like it or you hate it, and I loved it. So over the years, I started competing and losing and winning and having fun, but it was I think I don't want to say it was the biggest challenge the women encounter when they do jiu-jitsu, not in my part because I had Manny helping me a lot. It is the how to roll with a male. I think that's why we open our program is because either when you train jiu-jitsu with a male, they're either gonna go very rough on a female or not rough enough.
Yeah.
So
they think it's cute, right? They're like, oh, you're
so you have to have a good medium. And when you actually train with other females, it's, we don't have to hold our weight. We don't have to hold our strength because we almost equal to size and strength.
It's just go time at that point.
Yeah, it's a go time. And it's really fun.
Awesome.
But I think that as the male head coach, I think my job and everybody's job out there is like to teach men how to roll with women.
Yeah.
Where you try to be their weight. So, yeah, you're going to have to carry your weight a little bit and you're going to have to be their strength. And you're going to have to try to match their technique, And women by far become greater, technically wise. They become far greater than male because they don't have that strength barrier that they have to overcome, Mm-hmm. But for me, it's like one of the things I'm very proud of our male program is how good our guys do embracing the women in our academy and helping them feel safe. And also not doing that cute role, right? Like knowing how to roll with women, like keeping them safe.
that they need so they still can get better.
Yeah, keeping them safe, but giving them a good, honest match, Yeah. And unfortunately, like if you don't want to learn that, we're not the academy for you, man. Like we have entire families that train with us, and we have to. We're driven for that. We want to make sure that everybody gets to experience that success.
And let's start going into that with your academy. Because what was it like when you first opened your gym? Like, what challenges you faced? I remember dropping off the Subway cookies at the gym at, I think it was like 800 feet or something.
Yeah, it was 850 square feet. Most of it bathroom and like little storage. It was a tiny little mat. I think the challenge was that the environment in jiu-jitsu at the time was very toxic, very competitive, and that we wanted jiu-jitsu, when we taught it, we wanted it to be different. We wanted to have a fundamentals program. We wanted to have a kids program. We wanted to have a tiny warriors program. We wanted to have a women's program. So we were doing a lot of things that hadn't been done in Arizona, Maybe somewhere else, yes, but nobody was thinking about those programs. We were the first Tiny Warriors program. We were the first women's program. We were the first fundamentals program. So we faced the challenges of like going against the current of what everybody else was doing, but then also
because you guys were some of the first people to just be like, yo, go out, but whatever you go out and find, bring it back.
Be big on no politics. That was like the next challenge, right? Big on no politics to this degree. I understand where people's politics are. I get it. I grew in that. I don't agree with it. But one of the things is like, I'm not going to play into it, man. Like, come train with us, but if you come, I'm going to take a picture of you. So
okay.
Certain people were like, hey, man, you know how it is. No, I don't know how it is because I choose not to be part of that, But yeah, we were the first ones where it's like, no, go train with everybody. Be friends with people from other academies, create relationships. Jiu-jitsu is too beautiful of an art to try to be tribal about it,
Yeah.
So yeah, we no politics. No barriers, open door to everybody, willing to learn from a bunch of different people. We've had seminars from different affiliations.
Forrest Griffin.
Lucas Leche, Mario Sperry, Frangina.
Out of all
Milton.
those guys you've had, because I know you guys had some top-notch guys.
Yeah.
What's been the one where you're just like, oh, shoot, this guy opened my eyes on a bunch of stuff?
Man, I have to obviously say Frangina was just such a, influential figure in my life. Just we were talking about just like his mindset, same thing. It's just like this bulletproof mindset that he has, and just how he's willing to share with you. And like he has this thing where like he'll walk that bridge with you.
Talk about the change.
Change his mindset.
Yeah.
But he'll walk that bridge with you as many times as it takes. You know, he's one of those coaches that will do the work with you. You know, he won't do it for you, but he'll do it with you. But I think that for me, like one of the most influentials outside of Frangina was Lucas Leche.
Okay.
Just like his half guard game was something that immediately like matched my mindset. You know, where I was like, oh, this is how I fight. You know.
Yeah. And to kind of go off that, if I'm knowing the question right, how's your mindset changed throughout jiu-jitsu?
How's my mindset changed through jiu-jitsu?
Change in mindset.
I think what Mike's talking about again is talking about that cultural thing in jiu-jitsu. You know, no politics. Mike gave me one of the greatest advices when I opened my academy, and he said, "Lead with a pure heart."
Yeah,
I think those were the words that he said. You know, he's like, lead with an honest intention and an open heart. He's like, and you'll be fine. He hugged me the day that we opened our 800 square foot academy. You know, and he told me that, and that's what we've done, man. We just, you know,
for all you listeners, that thing has grown, and you have a little bit of an empire going right now, man.
We do, man. It's a beautiful thing. Our academy is like our Daimyo Academy. We're up in the Northwest. We were like over 300 students plus. We have like over 5,000 square feet of mats. We have weights. We have this. We have that. We have a beautiful kickboxing program, and then that led on to Philip also joining. Philip started training with me, and then he opened up his own academy under the Paragon Association. And then now it's everywhere, you know. Now we have Andy in Nogales, then we have Chris Santos out on the east side, you know. Then
I didn't even know you had another one too. I thought it was just Andy and Phil.
No, it's Chris Santos is out on the east side with the arena, and then it's Joel out in Douglas with this academy too.
Oh, dang!
So there's more coming, man. Like this year, we're gonna have some new promotions, some new black belts. So it's just gonna keep growing, you know. And the mission stays the same, you know. We want to change the way people look at jiu-jitsu, and we want to change lives through jiu-jitsu. You know, that's I think that's one of the things that Mike talks about is jiu-jitsu is that art that changes who you are at the core.
Absolutely. And I like that because the first guest I ever had on was high school football coach Jeff Skearns. He's a legend in Southern Arizona. And the best thing, one of the best things I've heard in all my life of sports was that as a head coach, you're not trying to win games, you're trying to save lives. And like when you said that, I'm like, all right, that kind of makes sense because trying to, even like a little kid that probably doesn't have the best opportunities, if he finds jiu-jitsu, that's a whole family right there.
It's a whole family, man. And then what jiu-jitsu teaches you is the art of not accepting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what brings us down a lot as humans is we get so beaten down by our circumstances, our upbringing, our original life conditions, you know, and then jiu-jitsu goes, nah, you know, endure it, learn how to suffer, but you can change it little by little fights, you know, a great change changes everything, you know? So it's the same thing in life, a little adjustment in your attitude and your focus that day. You know, they say a second changes a minute changes an hour changes a day changes a month changes a year.
Yeah.
You know, so that's jiu-jitsu, man. If you can teach you know, we always make this joke of, you know, we love our students, man, but it's we always joke about like we wish we're never gonna do this, but to take a picture of that person when they first walk in through that door, you know, and to take a picture of them a month after, a couple of weeks after, 3 months after. Dude, that change in confidence when they walk in and they know they can, whatever it's going to happen today, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I can take it. That wasn't there, man. And then you start hearing their lives, you know, and they're like, I changed jobs. I went back to school. I got a promotion, you know. And then they start sharing with you when they say, hey, I endured this at work because what would my coach do or what would jiu-jitsu do in this situation, you know? Yeah. And they, you know, and they get after it, man.
It's like anything. Someone's always trying to tap you out or take you out on your feet. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do, man? Not accept it.
Yep.
You know?
So, Brenda, is there a female jiu-jitsu artist or athlete that you look at as kind of like a role model or you kind of see and you're like, all right, me? Yourself?
No. Actually, I'm the old timer, so she's not very well known nowadays. But Leticia Ribeiro, she's one of the greatest of all times. I think she's the pioneer of women's jiu-jitsu. And she is the one that Beatriz Mesquita, people know about Beatriz Mesquita. Beatriz is a prodigy of Leticia Ribeiro. So I look up to her a lot. She's amazing. She's this little tiny woman. And when I started looking at her, that's one of the things that motivated me, because I used to say, man, she's so little and she wins everything, even the absolute. So she is, like I said, an old-timer. For the new girls, I don't think I follow a lot. I spend more time developing my athletes and seeing, because even though the women's community has grown in jiu-jitsu, there's still more male. So I do look at the techniques that other athletes do, and I try to imitate that in the female community. And sometimes it works better because women are more flexible, and more able to retain technique. So sadly, I don't have anyone.
No,
me.
You're because how many times have you won the Pan Ams there?
I won the Pan Ams 3 times and the Absolute 2 times.
Yeah, so see that.
The black belt.
Yeah, so there's no one else. There's not many people that can say that.
Yeah.
All right, so before we're running low on time, but when Phil was here, he started talking about getting in the cage again. What do you think about that?
Phil getting in the cage?
Yeah, he kept saying
Phil is a freak of nature, man. Like he's so athletic, he's so explosive, and yeah, he's getting up there in age. But I think that it's if he knows how to use the tools that he has, man, he's unstoppable.
Oh yeah, because he was giving us the little Rocky statement, like I still got something left in the basement.
Yeah, no, and you're always gonna have that, man, and that's a beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is like with the age brackets that continue to get added on as we get older, you can continue to fight into your 50s and your 60s,
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing, man. You should be, we talk about like that hunger for conquer, it's like if you have it in you, nurture it and then go out there and compete, win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter, man. You went out there and you lived the life of a comic book hero.
Yeah. It's that old, you remember the movie Legacy, the one about Henzo Gracie?
Yes.
And like that ending where it has that Theodore Roosevelt quote, and it says like, it's not the crit that counts.
The man in the arena.
Yep, man in the arena, absolutely.
Yeah. But dude, if Philip wants to get back in there, man, he can. He could definitely do it. I mean, Randy Couture was doing it at 48.
That's what I told him. I told him he still can. I mean, I think he made his debut at 41 in the UFC.
30-something.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, 37, I think he did, 37, and then his last fight was like 48.
Yeah.
But no, man, that's Randy Couture. That's a huge like influence on like that unstoppable mindset, where I'm like, I'm 40, I'll be 46, and I'm like, I still want it, man.
So you think about getting in the ring too?
No, not well. I don't know, man. I saw Elias's fight, and I'm like, no, I saw Elias's fight, and like that kickboxer in me was like, I still got it. But I got to be honest, when we're talking about injuries, I have an injury that I have to be conscious of and attend to, and I can be very productive and I can still compete in jiu-jitsu. But if I'm not conscious of that injury, then I'm paralyzed for a couple of days,
Yeah.
So I have to decide like where my priorities are, and that fire still burns within me, and sometimes I have to find my reward in like seeing my students grow, like I have a couple of students that are just not a couple of students, but I have students that are the best in the world, ranked number 1.
Andy Behrens,
Robert, Kenny, Ashley, Becca. I mean, we have so many, man. Lisa, we have it, and the list goes on, but we have that ability of helping those guys create. So for me right now, it's like if I can be their toughest match and I can help them create game plans with just that mindset of like, hey, if you can endure a role with me, you can do anything.
You can do anything.
So
that's awesome.
I'll get back out there, man, but more like in the jiu-jitsu side, I did MMA, but it wasn't my cup of tea, man. I didn't like the culture. And at the time I was working for the police department, so a cop, husband, and father, and this, and that, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, getting punched in the face is never fun sometimes, man.
I didn't mind, man, but it was just like, how much time do I want to devote to this, And do I want to be an absentee father and husband, Because like I worked this hours and then I have to devote this many hours to boxing, to wrestling, to jiu-jitsu. What time am I spending at home?
Yeah. Well, we ran out of time, guys. Thank you guys for both being on. Where can they find your hypnotist stuff and your gym?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Hypnosis with Brenda. Pretty simple. Or my website, coachbrendasoto.com.
And you can find us at Daimyo Academy. Our website is daimyoacademy.com. And we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook and some other social media. We're out there.
That's awesome, guys. Thank you. We will see you next Friday. We have Jose Felix from Just Sports coming in. Later today, we'll announce the game of the week. And Mike Romero, get on the show already.
Let's do it.